Hello everyone, Mr. Stevens here with our first statistics unit lesson on frequency distribution tables. Now, you should have seen these in stage 4, but we're just going to refresh them so we recognize key elements of the tables and make sure we know how they work. But something that we're introducing that I think will be new in stage 5 is frequency distribution tables that cover grouped data. Alright, let's remind ourselves what a frequency distribution table looks like. Here we have a group of people being asked what their favorite flavor of ice cream is. For vanilla, there were 2 people that said that was their favorite flavor. For chocolate, there were 5 people that said that was their favorite flavor. And so on and so forth. I think that's pretty straightforward. Often what we'll be dealing with though is data that looks like this, just a bunch of numbers. I'm going to draw a frequency distribution table using this data for you. And I just want you to watch me do it. So I have I'm going to call it the score over here. I'm going to include a tally column, and then over here we'll have the frequency. Now, when we have data like this, that's just a line of numbers, you're going to see that the tally column will be very useful. We need to go up to 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go along, and whenever I see a 1, I'm going to cross it out and put a tally. I want to impress on you as strongly as I possibly can that this is the best method when creating these tables. Cross out the numbers as you go. It's very, very easy to miss one if you don't. Okay, now we're looking for 2s. And now we're looking for 3s. There's 1, 3. There are 3 4s, 1 5, and 1 6. Okay, so now we just add in the numbers. 6, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1. And there we have it, a basic frequency distribution table. I want you guys to pick up your pens now and have a go at drawing this one with me that has a couple of new features. The first thing is we're going to be separating our data into class intervals. This could also be groups. You'll see the word class and group used interchangeably in this unit. We're still going to have a tally column, and we're still going to have a frequency column. And this last column is going to be percentage frequency. I'm just going to draw the percentage symbol. Right, I'll show you how to work that one out when we get there. The first thing we've got to do is look at the class intervals. We're being told to use class intervals of 10, so that's what we write down here. So now, instead of each line representing just one number, this first line represents all the numbers from 1 to 10. And now the process here for filling out the tally and the frequency column are exactly the same as they were before. Anytime we have a number, 1 to 10, we cross it out and we put a tally down here. That's it, just the 3. And then we move on to 11 to 20. There's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and finish this tally and frequency column just while I talk. If you need to follow along with me, then that's fine too. Okay, here we have a really good example of why it's a good idea to cross everything out as you count it. I just missed that 19 that should have been in the 11 to 20. If I had not been crossing out the numbers as I went, I would not have known that I missed that 19 just there. All right, let's move on to 21 to 30. And the last one, 31 to 40. Even though, in theory, all these remaining numbers should just go into this last class, I'm going to go through and cross them out one at a time, just in case I missed a number that should have been in one of the other classes. Right, now we write down the numbers, 3, 7, 5, and 5. Okay, now, percentage frequency. It can be a good idea to just down the bottom here, write a little total. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 5 is 20. We were actually given that number in the question, but it doesn't hurt to check because we need that total for the percentage frequency. The way we work out the percentage frequency is we put the frequency over the total and we times it by 100. In this case, it's 15%. You can just put that in your calculator. The number over the total times 100. The number over the total times 100. And this one is the same. I'm not going to do it again. Now, that's it. That's a frequency distribution table with groups and with percentage frequency. It's worth checking that all these numbers add up to 100%, because if they don't, you've made a mistake somewhere. All right. I want you guys to have a go at this one now without me doing it with you. Pause the video, have a go at it. One thing I want to say though, before you do that, is we're not told what groups to use. In the last question, we were told to use groups of 10. In this one, we're not. So that means you can choose groups of 5, or you can choose groups of 10, or you can choose whatever other group makes sense. Here we have numbers from 1 up to 48. So choosing groups of, let's say, 25 doesn't really make sense because we'd only have 2 groups. We want enough groups that we can say some things about our data, but we don't want too many that it's impractical. So choosing groups of 25 would be a bit silly. Choosing groups of 2 would also be a bit silly. Somewhere in that 5 to 10 range is probably the sweet spot for this amount of data. But I'm going to let you choose to do it either way. Yeah, so have a crack at this. Solution will be here for you in a sec. All right, your table should look something like that. Don't forget, for the last column, the way we figure it out is the score over the total times 100 equals 30%. Okay, so now we should be able to recognize the key elements of a frequency distribution table, and we should also be able to draw tables when we have group data instead of single data points. You guys will have some questions now to practice on iLearn. If you have any questions about them, please contact your class teacher and get your questions answered. Thank you.